Alrighty guys, I love the sharing, but I'm gonna put us on pause here. We're gonna bring it back. Andy, what are you thankful for today?
I'm thankful for, I'm thankful to have Shannon and Alisa who are become great friends and great collaborators, and I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity not only to present with them here, but to continue working with them over the past several years and in the future.
Anyone want to share with the large group what they're thankful for? Victor, what are you happy for today? Nice. That's awesome. All right. So this is the other thing. You got to share your things. Not today necessarily, because I know this is a bunch of random strangers, but you got to share them with people around you. I've gotten out of habit, but there was a period where, like, for 3 months, I did this with the residents almost every day. They probably wanted to kill me, but you know what? We were joyful together. So let's talk about the next happiness concept from the book, which is following up. So it's fairly straightforward. We all fail. There's things that don't go well. There's things that don't go right. And if you look at them as failure and that's it, then you're back to that fixed mindset instead of looking for opportunities to improve. So the example I think of as far as work goes is years ago, we got a small section of the new hospital to move our ED into temporarily while we didn't upgrade to our old ED. And then they kicked us out when we were done, and they said, no, you can't have it. It's like, well, we had it for 2 months. Well, you can't be licensed for that. So it went round and round in circles, and instead of our leadership saying, well, that's the end of that, we failed, they looked at other opportunities and what we could use the space for, and it ended up we could use it for observation. And 3 years later, we finally opened our 20-bed obs unit. But if you look at something like that as a failure and you just end it there, you're never going to get anywhere. So find opportunities and positive outcomes that you can take out of failure. Social investment is the last concept from this book that I want to talk to you guys about, but the most important. Sometimes when you're feeling down, you're feeling crabby, you had a crappy day at work, you don't want to call anyone. I drive home and I'm like, I should call my mom, but I don't want to. I should call Alisa, but I want to bug her. I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm putting my book on tape on it. I'm just going to sit here. And a lot of us do that. We're guilty of it, but it's actually the wrong thing to do, because people who have large social networks, people who go to their social networks when they're having a bad day, people who go to their social networks for positivity and support are actually happier. And what did we decide happiness leads to? Success. Exactly. So invest in those social networks. Take advantage of them. When you're having a bad day, go and talk to someone, call someone. Make sure that you're actually embracing and growing those social networks instead of turning them off when you're having a hard time.
All right, so we're going to talk about batteries. Who here has a cell phone with them? Everybody? Everybody's got a cell phone. Who here can tell me exactly what their battery percentage is right now? 10%. There's a bunch of hands, right? 10%. Ouch. Dude, you need a charger. Like, all the time. I know exactly what my cell phone's charged to. And, I know that if there's a bunch of apps running or I'm spending 5 minutes on Instagram, my battery is going to go from 75% to like 25% because it just steals the life out of my battery. And I know that if I plug my phone in, it's going to actually charge. And we all know that if you continually drain your cell phone battery, it's eventually going to stop working. And that's not good. All right, so cell phone batteries. This is something to think about. If we change this and we do it another way, we can talk about race cars. Does anybody watch race cars? I don't even know if that's the right term. Like NASCAR, is that what it is? I have no idea what I'm talking about. Race cars, but I do know something about physics.
You're in the wrong city.
I totally am. I know. But I do know something about physics, and I drive myself, not like a race car driver. I'm actually quite a safe driver. But if you go around corners too fast, if you're constantly going too fast, and you go around a corner, that centrifugal force is going to pull you off, and that's when the race cars crash into the wall. And I know we've all seen that. Like, we've all seen them fly off, hit the wall, crash and burn, right? So that's not good. So good race car drivers, I hear, people who know physics, they slow down going into those turns so that they can speed up. And so eventually they can get ahead of everyone else who didn't slow down and crashed and burned in the wall. If we take this another way, we can look at athletes. Is anybody here trained for something that was like seriously physically exhausting or a big physical task, done like a mud run or a half marathon or ice skating competition? Yeah? Yeah, I did gymnastics growing up, so I trained pretty hard at that. And prior to gymnastics competitions, we took a little time off. We usually got a day or two off before a big competition to kind of rest everything. You have to rest your muscles, because if you are constantly pushing forward, you're really going to tire those muscles out. And then when the big day comes and you have to run that marathon, or you have to play your big ice hockey game, you're not going to be able to, because you're going to be too tired. You guys, we're all mental athletes. This is what we do every single day. We abuse our brains, we use our brains, we work hard with our brains, and eventually you kind of have to slow down a little bit in order to speed up again, okay? So let's go back to that initial thought of batteries. We all have a mental idea of where we are right now. So if you change it and you put it into a percentage like a battery, and you think about what percentage your battery is at right now, that's a good way to kind of gauge things for yourself. And then you can take it one step further, and you can start thinking about what really drains your battery. All right? And then you can think about what really charges your battery. And going back to what we talked about a little bit earlier with cell phones, is if you constantly drain your cell phone battery, eventually your phone stops working. And none of us want to be there. None of us want to get to the point where we've drained our battery so many times that we just can't work anymore. So it's important to know what charges your battery, and it's important to know what drains your battery. So I'll start this off, and then I'll have Shannon share a little bit too. But right now my battery's at about 75%, which is honestly on the high side for me. The vast majority of the time I probably function at like a 45% is where my battery is. Things that recharge me, answering emails, super excited about that. Maybe not in the moment it wasn't recharging me, but now that it's done and I've answered 100 plus emails, I'm like on cloud 9. Like that was an immediate 5% boost in my battery. Other things that recharge my battery, sleeping in. I slept in this morning till like 8, which California time is 5 a.m., so not that exciting, but I was excited, recharged my battery. And things that drain my battery would be like drug-seeking patients, or patients that are like super needy when they don't need to be, and they're like constantly like pulling the life out of me when I'm trying to like tell them, no, I'm not giving you Dilaudid, we don't have any more. It's not even a decision, we literally just don't have any. You know, things like that really drain my battery, and those are important for me to be aware of, because it helps me figure out when I need to recharge and how I'm going to recharge. So Shannon, how's your battery right now?
I'm probably like 85%. I had the weekend off,
Fancy,
and so I hung out with my
85%.
husband. We watched a lot of iZombie, so it was a good weekend. You don't know what that is?
Great
it's actually a pretty
TV
good
show, guys. Great TV show.
So I'm like 75.
I'd say I'm at a conservative 70%. I've had a busy day, but you know, I've had some things throughout the day that have really recharged me. You know, we got a department dinner tonight. I mean, all kinds of happy things. But you know, 30% of me is drained from all of my activities today. So.
So I want everyone to take a moment. I want you to maybe take 30 seconds to think about your own battery and where you're at right now. Think about what recharges your battery, and think about what drains your battery. And then after those 30 seconds, I want you to share with your newfound friends.